Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. In the local scene, the Provincial Tourism, Culture and Arts Office is pushing for more inclusive tourism in Albay, making sure persons with disabilities can travel freely, safely and comfortably. Officials said the effort is not just about removing physical barriers, but also social and psychological ones. Steps include improving accessibility through universal design, reliable information, trained staff, and accessible communication, along with diverse tourism experiences. As part of this push, disability sensitivity training was recently held for tourism frontliners and stakeholders. The PDCO said it wants the Albay tourism sector to be truly people-centered, giving equal opportunities for persons with disabilities to enjoy travel and leisure. In other story, the Albay Provincial Board is moving to bring back the Go Green, Grow Green program. The plan aims to boost climate change resilience and promote sustainable development through reforestation, waste management, coastal protection, and livelihood programs. Board member Wilfredo Moronilla said that the program also calls for stronger collaboration among government agencies, NGOs, private sector, and local communities. Environmental groups welcome the move, saying it's a vital step in securing Albay's food supply for future generations. In the national scene, the Civil Service Commission has announced that elected and appointed Sangguniang Kabataan officials are now eligible for civil service eligibility, a benefit that recognizes their government service. Under CSC Resolution Number 2500752, SK officials who have completed a full 3-year term or its equivalent in good standing can now apply for this eligibility. The coverage includes both elected SK members and appointed SK officials such as secretaries and treasurers. To qualify, these appointments must have been made by the SK chairperson from members of the Katipunan ng Kabataan, with approval from the majority of SK members. SKOs who meet the qualifications have started to apply for the SK eligibility after the resolution's official effectivity date last week, October 4, 2025. In other story, Bicol Saro Representative Terry Bridon has called on the Independent Commission for Infrastructure to launch a full investigation into individuals linked to the questionable flood control projects as revealed in the recent Senate and House inquiries. Bridon issued the statement on Sunday following Senator Panfilo Lacson's announcement of his plan to resign as chairperson of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. He noted that under Lacson's leadership, significant evidence was uncovered, particularly involving former officials of the Department of Public Works and Highways. He urged the ICI to make the proceedings public to maintain transparency. Bridon also emphasized that responsibility for further investigation now rests solely with the executive branch, under which the ICI operates. In other news, Akbayan Party List Representative Chel Jokno, along with co-party list lawmakers Percy Sindania, Dada Kiramis Mula, and Dinagat Islands Representative Kaka Bagao, has filed House Bill number 5081, also known as the Interns' Rights and Welfare Act. The proposed measure seeks to establish a national framework that ensures humane working conditions, fair compensation, and protection against abuse and exploitation for students undergoing internship programs. While acknowledging the importance of the internships and providing real-world experience, jokingly emphasized that student interns must also be treated with respect and dignity. He stressed that their rights and welfare should be safeguarded throughout the internship process. Under the bill, government agencies would be required to provide compensation to interns. It also mandates a detailed memorandum of agreement between schools, employers, and students to ensure that interns are not forced to choose between learning and being exploited for free labor. A similar bill was filed by Senator Risa Ontiveros in 2019, but to date there is still no law in the Philippines that requires employers to compensate interns. If passed, House Bill number 5081 would mark a significant step forward in institutionalizing protections for student interns across the country. And in the news outside the country, Israeli planes and tanks struck areas in the Gaza Strip overnight on Sunday, October 5, destroying residential buildings and killing at least 16 people, according to local reports. The strikes came just a day after U.S. President Donald Trump called for an immediate ceasefire following Hamas's response to his 20-point peace proposal. Key points in the plan include an end to the war, Israel's withdrawal from Gaza, and the release of both Israeli and Palestinian captives. The proposal was reportedly supported by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and welcomed by Hamas. Despite this, Israeli military operations have continued across the enclave. Israeli negotiators were expected to depart for Egypt as formal talks were set to begin on Monday, just one day before the war marks another grim milestone. This has cast doubts among the Gazans who had placed their hopes on the prospects for peace. And finally, in the news outside the country, Russian President Vladimir Putin has issued a warning to the United States over the possible supply of long-range Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, saying such a move would lead to a serious escalation of the ongoing conflict. The warning comes after U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance stated last month that Washington is considering Ukraine's request for Tomahawk missiles, which could enable strikes deep into the Russian territory, including Moscow. While the U.S. has not made a final decision, Putin said on Sunday that it would be impossible for Ukraine to obtain such weapons without direct American involvement. He added that any delivery of long-range missiles would significantly worsen the conflict. Although former President Donald Trump has reported shown a desire to supply these weapons, transferring Tomahawk missiles from U.S. inventories may not even be logistically viable at this time. And that's all for the news at 12, October 7, 2025. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. Thanks to our news writer, Albay PIO and Naomi Ruth Hernandez. And on the technical side, Chad Bobis. And our Provincial Information Officer OIC Mori Gonzalez. And under the supervision of our Governor, Noel E. Ruzal, I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing.